Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. My name is Mira, and I will be playing Sammy Jax this morning. With me is the very wonderful, lovely friend of mine.
Oh, you're making me blush again. Hi everyone, I'm VWild, and I will be playing Detective Little in Stagehand, the feral monkey.
Who we
Most
love.
of the time. Thank God someone does. She's learning to love herself.
Yes, good. We stand this monkey learning good habits.
Woo!
All right, Lynn, how are you doing after the events of grave situation?
She personally has been doing pretty well. I mean, being able to put down a case that you've had for a while on the cold cases front, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
What isn't as great is when you're thinking about someone who may or may not have left slightly early from the hey, isn't this fantastic? We all survived, and oh, cool, pretty flowers. Yes. Who would
Mm-hmm.
that be who left early? Who would that be? Your picnic.
Yes, it is a very certain rainbow boy who has a lot on his mind recently, to say the least. Uh, Lynn, you've kind of gotten it into your head to look for said rainbow boy, and it's pretty safe to say that March and Hugh told you about Sammy's garden in one of the more uh, not as inhabited places in Toontown. And they would have given you directions, which is why I'm not having you roll survival, but I am going to have you roll perception for me.
Alright. And Lynn, I will say, Lynn has been, after meeting Sammy, and after a couple of things that he said, she has looked into him to just go, hey, is this kid alright?
What's
Is
up with this
kid
kid?
okay?
That's a nat 1. I can't give you anything with a nat 1, so I'm just roll again. Dice Parser's being a jerk.
Just if Dice Passer is a jerk, we do have the clicky clacks.
Yes.
Now, come on, Dice Passer, play nice.
Aha!
There we go.
A dirty 20. Thank you, Dice Parser. The duality of Dice Parser. Jeez.
Dice Passer knows what's good for it.
It's like, no, don't resort to the clicky clacks. I can be good. Anyways, so with a dirty 24, you're walking along the route that March and Hugh have given you and given you directions to, and you didn't really understand what they meant when they told you that you would know when you were in that part of Toontown. But boy howdy, Lynn, you step across you head across the street from one block to the other, and as you step you step over the halfway point in the street, it is an immediate scene change. The ambience is completely different. There is no sound at all. And what's really strange is there were a ton of people just kind of milling about Toontown, doing their own business, going to the shops, doing all of their usual normal background character stuff. When you step over this line, there's no one there.
Well, pink. Okay. Lynn steps back.
Immediately there are people, there's the sound of bustling noise, it's an inhabited part of Toontown again. It's completely normal.
There is a very confused monkey toon standing in the middle of this street. Steps over again.
Absolute silence. Noise. Absolute silence. Back and forth it goes every time you step it about.
She does it about 3 times. Has to then collect the pile of Grawlix that is forming around her in her. Seriously, Toontown, why are you so weird?
And
before she shoves the Growlix in her pocket and goes, okay.
and as you step the final time around the into this silent space, the silence block of Toontown, you look around and you pick up something else. These buildings are extremely dilapidated. They're clearly been abandoned for a very long time. There are shops that are boarded up. There is actually glass on the sidewalks and sometimes in the streets where the windows have been clearly been broken. And with your detective detective instincts, you recognize that there was something that happened here. There is clear signs of fighting at one point in certain places as you kind of just look over with your keen detective's eye. Something happened here, and as you look around more, you pick up the fact that the silence here is strange because you've been in silent places before. This has a weight to it. It almost feels like there's a sharpness to it that kind of, it doesn't press super hard against you, but you get kind of the impression of teeth almost.
Oh, that gets a rub of her shoulder. Just, okay. Okay, this is... Why the heck does a child live here? Alright. Let's look into that. Another time. Or possibly abduct. We're possibly going to abduct the child at a later date. We'll see how it goes. Adoption is still on the table. Okay, probably going to have to beat up another detective. That's fine. And she just starts walking and is incredibly grateful nowadays that she has high heels so that she doesn't have to step on the glass with her feet, because ouch.
Mm-hmm. And as you keep going forward, you notice the theater that March and Hugh had mentioned is where the garden is located behind. And there is the alleyway that you can enter into and the little slotted opening in that fence.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Checks over some things to make sure she has what she wants and needs. Yep, she does. Okay, she does bundle something from her coat. And she's not actually wearing her stagehand coat today. She's wearing the same outfit the first time Sammy saw her.
Mm-hmm.
Just pulls something out of her ham space, bundles it up, pulls something else, also bundles that up and goes, okay, let's go over there. Let's do this. And just slips in.
Okay. You slip in with very, very quiet monkey high-heeled feet, and you look around, and I'm just going to run with the perception that you got once Dice Parser was being very nice to us with that dirty
Yes.
20.
Thank you, Dice Parser.
And it's really interesting, actually, as you step into this garden place, which is extremely well crafted, well taken care of. There's hardly any weeds at all, like mainly in the corners where someone clearly hasn't gotten to them at this point, but they will. Their days are marked. There are very lush trees. There are actually a few birds that are kind of twittering in the space up here, where like they're just kind of chilling about in their up in the trees, and like they're, as you look up, you kind of realize that, oh, those are turtle doves, and they're just kind of vibing up there, and there is a fountain kind of nestled in the back corner bit, not where the where it leads to the theater, but to kind of farther across from it, nestled behind some trees and shrubbery and stuff, and blanketed with flowers at this point. There are many flower beds that are filled to the brim. all rainbow themed, you've noticed. And
Ooh.
as you kind of turn your eyes and stuff, you notice that there are some roses that are growing on vines kind of above some of the trees, and they're kind of slightly glowing a bit of a pinkish gold. And but they're faint because this is during the daytime, and you assume that you would be able to see them much better during the nighttime. And as you're looking around, you spot the Rainbow Kid, this little rainbow, not little, this 6-foot toon who you met during a case to help a dear friend of both of yours now. And it's interesting. He's not dressed up the same way that he was when he was working on the case or when you first met him with his hood covering his rainbow hair. He has still got the robes that he was wearing, but his hood is down, and he's not wearing his mask. He's got it kind of pulled down around his neck, and he's very busy, he's he's kind of knelt into some of the grass, and his hands deep in a flower bed that's half full, but still getting flowers being placed inside with very, very obvious gentle care. And you immediately realize that, hey, this is his space. He's curated it from disaster, you suspect, to this wonderful little oasis.
A haven.
Yep. This is a haven.
That. Lynn, honestly, she actually just takes a good long moment of just letting this place sink in. Because, yeah, this is beautiful. I mean, she associates gardens with good things like Rye. I mean, Rye loves gardening, her wonderful son.
Mm-hmm.
And the roses especially are something that she's drawn towards because Sweetheart Roses and her network. And she does take it in before looking at this kid who's honestly how is he looking? At peace?
Mm-hmm. His shading is a nice warm cream, you'll notice, as he's working. And it's slightly tinged with a gold at the edges. He looks extremely content, and there is a slight smile on his face, and as you kind of look at him, you can actually faintly hear the sound of humming.
This is the time. It's adorable. Lynn's up for shenanigans. Because Lynn has been doing research on this kid. Lynn has learned a lot of things about this kid. That was stealth.
Sammy's passive is 14, so he does not...
That's a 26 for stealth.
Yeah, he notices nothing.
Yes. Lynn is silently just looking up at the sky. There is some god just thank you. Just sneak. She's not gonna sneak all the way. She's gonna make sure if there's a fence or something, she's gonna make sure there's a little distance so the kid can actually see her, so they don't go, oh god, I'm being attacked.
Yeah,
she is.
I do think.
And then pop her head up.
I think as you basically you're approaching, and then you notice you get halfway, and then you notice that there's a conveniently placed little branch, and you just kind of deliberately step, because Sammy's not looking up. He's got his gaze entirely locked on the garden bed, so he's gonna need a little bit of noise to realize, wait, someone's here.
Yes, there's just see the twig, and there's the very deliberate, full-on toonish lift the foot up, leggy go real high, snap.
Sammy's shading immediately goes sky blue, and then he just blink, looks up. Hi, detective.
Hi, this is an intervention. Sammy, would you like to tell everyone what your deck save was earlier for this very specific thing?
A nat one.
Hey, that one. As Sammy, Lynn, who's smiling very relaxed. She has something in her hand. She's placed something on the ground. She has something in her hand. It is a giant red blanket balled up partially as she chucks it at you.
And it connects, and like I feel like there's like this like freeze moment because Sammy wasn't expecting to see Detective Lynn Stagehand, and thwump connects directly with his face, and then he just kind of thwump falls backwards into the grass. Shading still extremely like sky blue, like he just kind of has his arms like wrapped up around it because he was trying to catch it. And so he's basically got like the blanket kind of like draped all over him, and he's just kind of got his hands kind of in that like half, oh, you tried to catch it but it's too late motion.
And then there is the bustling of a shorter tune just around you, just like, yep, there is something underneath you now. There's probably a giant pillow or something. And Lynn is just like full on bustling. You're pretty sure this is what the mother henning instinct is. As she just goes, okay, yep. How you doing, kid?
Fine? And like he kind of just slowly pulls the blanket down off of his face. The shading's kind of gray now. And like
no. But yep. There is a monkey. Like you said, you flopped over. Yep. There is a monkey in front of you, staring at you, with a plate of biscuits in hand.
Sammy just kind of blink, slowly sits up really, and like it's very obvious he's confused, especially because he's not wearing his mask right now. You can clearly read his expression as he's just got like what? He's very confused. He hasn't quite cottoned on why Lynn is here yet.
There is the partially insistent press of this plate of biscuits, which are homemade, into his hands, going, I don't know when the last time you ate was. Probably too far back. Here you go. They're good.
And I'm really quickly just gonna roll a d20 to see when he had. Sammy, buddy! That was a 9. He has not eaten in a bit. He probably got hyper-focused on his gardening. I will be real.
Honestly, the amount of parallels this kid has with Lynn, this is why Lynn is trying to force the biscuits on him, because she's like, yeah, okay, if this kid's anything like me, it's probably been at least a few hours more than it should be. Eat.
Yeah. And like just like kind of like he like opens his mouth to kind of just be like but, and then his stomach comedically growls and he just kind of shuts his mouth, and like there is the very obvious dusting of hot pink in his shading.
There is the knowing eyebrow raise from Lynn as she taps one foot, just like, yeah, you can't pull that pick and shit with me, I know. Eat.
And like there's just like a very sheepish kind of shoulder hunch, and he just kind of slowly takes a biscuit and chomp. And
there we go.
Lynn, as you see him chomp on one of the biscuits, you notice that this boy has very pointy teeth.
How's about?
Just,
well, everyone's got a design, and she can't exactly fault someone for pointy teeth, seeing as her chompers really were something. She's only got nubbin fangs nowadays, but oh boy, they were good.
Yeah, like they're just a very, like just very jagged, kind of almost shark-like teeth. Just chomp.
Aww.
Yes, yeah, so
precious,
nibble.
Precious shark baby.
Yes, just nibble, 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 nibble. There's probably like a smear frame of several more biscuits being chomped on because, oh, I actually am really hungry. Oh, just BRB.
Don't mind me, I'm just going to roll two things very, very quickly. Absolutely do not mind. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's vaguely ironic. Yep, that is below your passive. Lynn has clocked the num 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 num. She has reached into her hammer yet again and is just very subtle, or as subtly as she can, tried to get a carton of chili or out of her hammer and has just put it inconspicuously in the garden bed. It's probably not her best work.
Sammy clocks that, but he's a little too busy chomping on biscuits because sweets. Nom nom nom.
There we go. Okay, the kid is feeding. That's good. The kid is self-caring relatively. That's good. I mean, hyper-focusing ain't great, but hey, we can adapt with that. We shall have the conversation.
Oh boy.
Or burrito the kid and kidnap them back to network, but I don't think that'd actually be beneficial, seeing as one of the things we're talking about today. And while Lynn doesn't say this out loud, there is very much the hand gestures of someone counting stuff off and then formulating a plan, like the full-on hands in front of face. Very much the genius planning.
I'm just really quickly gonna roll a perception to see if Sammy clocks that. Yeah, he clocks that. He just kind of, like, I feel like this is where he reaches the halfway point of the the biscuit munching, and just, like, kind of slowly puts the plate down, and he's just like, Detective Lynn, I get the feeling that you're not entirely here just to feed me cookies and chili.
Oh, you clocked the chili.
Mm-hmm.
Pick it. I should have hidden it better. Next time I'll hide it better. You'll have to go on a little hunt then. But yeah.
There's a visible sweat drop that appears and just kind of goes choo down Sammy's face a little, because this boy's Ghiblian.
Yes. Lynn loves the Ghiblian, but she does slightly get a bit more serious as she fully turns back to you from where she'd basically been watching you, but also watching the rest of the garden. Like, this is a safe place? Of course it's a safe place. You still monitor everything.
Mm-hmm.
But she does turn to you now, and it's... You can roll me insight if you like.
Oh, definitely. Sammy's definitely gonna roll insight. Ah, that's a 7. Buddy, seriously.
You get a soft look passing over her face. You don't really get much more than that with a 7, but she is definitely trying to be as soft as she can be, because, yeah, this is what you don't get. Lynn is concerned, Lynn is worried, Lynn wants to make sure this child prospers, and Lynn is seeing so many parallels it ain't even funny, and she's now very concerned.
Oh, I hold Lynn so soft.
Yes, but she just goes, I wanted to do a check-in on you after our last events together. You did, well, Sweetheart clocked that you left quite early, so I wanted to make sure everything was alright. You doing okay, kiddo?
Okay, let me just roll a thing.
I swear to God, if it's deception, we will have to contest.
Please, roll a contest.
God damn it, kid! God damn it, Lynn!
Sammy just kind of fully puts the plate down and is just like, I'm fine. Thanks for checking in on me, I guess. I just didn't really... I love March and I love you, but I needed some space. And he is telling the truth on that.
Yeah. It's a lot to go off, isn't it? Well, everything that you got thrown into was sudden. Was, quite frankly, I'm presuming not how you anticipated that day going.
No, not really. It was really nice to see Mix Tobias again. after all the chaos that we'd had thrown in our way. But
Oh?
yeah, I helped out with his partner got kidnapped a while back, and
Oh, pit.
yeah, everything's fine, but it was a really long week, and
Yeah, I can imagine. And
also roll insight.
Okay. Come on. Come on. God damn it!
Roll again.
Yes,
Picking.
he's a goddamn detective.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's more like it.
yeah,
That's more like it.
thank you,
Dice
Dice
parser, you. I am fighting back the Grolix right now because, dice parser.
I'm starting to think it's when we go dice parser, are you sure? Then it changes its tune.
Yep. Lynn, you kind of notice that Sammy's kind of hesitating. There's a lot more to this Tobias's partner getting kidnapped than he's just saying. Like, he was involved in it a lot more than just because he was friends with Tobias. He was involved with it in a different avenue as well.
Mm-hmm. Lynn nods. Lynn's also thinking of another kidnapping case on that one. She goes, that case must have been hard for you.
Yeah, it and his shading goes to a very deep, dark blue tinted purple as he kind of just he honestly he slides the plate of biscuits onto the grass, kind of in between both of you, and then just kind of pulls up his knees, and he's kind of gripping at his wrist a little bit as he just kind of nods.
I will admit, when I meet new people, I tend to run a few background checks on them. Just see about them, see who they are, what they've done, and I'll admit, you, young Sammy, you did intrigue me on that front. I mean, you've got a decent history with well, you have your own nemesis. That's quite impressive at your age. But I also noticed you being in a certain case. I'm presuming kidnappings aren't exactly a fun experience for you. They're not for anyone, but I'm presuming it hit a little close to home.
Sammy actually flinches a bit at the word kidnapping.
Alright.
No, it didn't hit. It wasn't by the same person that took me, but it was the same damn caliber of fucked up. Damn real kinds.
Yeah. Recent years, real kinds of really kicked up their act. We're lucky to have some good ones. I mean, honestly, kiddo, with what I've read and what I've seen, I'm surprised that you were so okay with taking a case that we were on recently together. I mean, Asclepius, I love the man, but he's a real, not a real kind. But I'm curious about that.
The reason I said yes is Asclepius's voice was... it was good. it was... His colors were good.
Hmm?
Uh,
You do get the almost puppy tilt of Lynn's head as she tries to cotton onto that, because, yeah, he does have a good colour palette, but she's pretty sure that's not what you're going with, so there is just the head tilt.
uh, sometimes, I can, see a person's voice. I haven't really been around you enough for it to go off, but sometimes when I need reassurance that someone is good, there I can sometimes see their voice.
Oh.
It's something Mom reassures me I'll be able to do a bit more as I get stronger, but yeah, it's right now it's not really something I can do on command. It just kind of happens.
Huh. Well, I'll tell you this, it's a very useful skill. I mean, your mum must be very proud of you. I mean, that sort of, I guess it's magic? I mean,
Kind of. It's kind of comes with being her cleric.
you're a cleric of your mum?
Adopted. She lets me call her Mom. Prismatone. Her statue's right there. This is actually her garden that I take care of. Yeah, it's...
Lynn is nodding. Lynn is nodding. Understands.
Nat 20!
Lynn actually looks at this statue, and Lynn is looking at it, and her head tilts to one side and goes, "Wait."
And as she's...
That's a god.
She's the deity of voice and characterization.
And she is actually now pointing at the statue. Probably not the most polite thing. She goes, "I've seen that face before."
You have?
Sort of. I mean, not fully. I mean, it's a little complex. You've met Sweetheart, my network.
Yeah. Briefly, I will admit that I wasn't in the best frame of mind for remembering faces.
Well, Sweetheart doesn't exactly have a face. But my home, my network, they've told me before about Rainbow Song So Kind. I mean, heck, there is, on my wall of love, there is a rainbow crayon drawing that network insisted I draw of Rainbow Song So Kind. I thought that was an imaginary friend. I don't think that's an imaginary friend. Holy peck, I think my house is talking to a god.
She does have a tendency to talk to anyone who reaches out and speaks to her. It's the polite kind of thing to do. She didn't have a lot of people to talk to a while back.
Oh.
Yeah, she was locked away for a while, and she's back, finally. And I met her, and she helped me with, my emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And she's good.
Yeah. She sounds it.
And he kind of pauses because his train of thought has visibly taken him by surprise.
We all need help understanding our emotions sometimes, sorting through them. It's It's good to have people to turn to in those times. People we can trust, people we care about, who can help us figure out where we want to be,
Yeah.
who
She
help us feel safe.
she does all of that and more, honestly, but she actually helped me feel again. Um, for a while, I didn't feel anything. And he just kind of
Oh,
rubs at his wrist a bit more. Uh,
can Lynn roll medicine or something on that wrist?
yep.
Lynn, your medicine is beep, but don't fail me now. Damn it, Lynn.
Well, you don't notice anything about that, but also I'm going to ask you to roll perception.
Mm-hmm. Come on. Dice Pastor, if you're a picnic, I swear to God, I'll get the click clacks out.
Well, it's good enough. He's not really hiding it, and you're honestly close enough to see this. He has strange kind of dots on his wrists, and they kind of go up past into his sleeve. And Lynn, since you're a detective, I am going to give you this.
Mm-hmm.
Those aren't freckles. Those are scars.
Oh, pick. I'm just gonna roll a little thing, don't worry. Yep, you see nothing. Lynn's gone deception with a 23. Her fur is, for a second it seemed to ripple. It is now lying just completely flat. She's got her tail just underneath her heel as she leans slightly in and she goes, "You've been through the wars, haven't you, kiddo?"
Sammy just kind of looks at you for a moment, Lynn, looks down at his wrist, and then kind of looks away.
I've also been through bad situations. I've got a feeling that it's different, but I think we've got some things in common. Of people doing stuff to us that we really wish they hadn't, that we would have been a lot better if they hadn't done it to us. And Lynn does actually tug her collar to one side, and you can roll me perception.
Alright, that is a 7. Dice
I
purser.
will give you advantage, seeing as she's like actively directing. So dice pass.
Thank you!
Thank you, dice passer. You picnic. Please play nice.
Jeez.
And you do see the start of what looks like a healed over bite. It's only the edge. Whatever this is, these teeth are big on this rather small toon. It almost looks as though whatever it was, now that it's healed, tore straight through outline and sketch. And she just goes, "Yeah. I had a run-in 5 years ago with something horrific that made me feel unsafe to be around. That made me scared of myself and scared of it. And made me want to do things that I would have regretted if I'd managed to go through with them all."
Sammy, his shading is back to like that dark bluish purple as he like looks at the scar, and then he kind of his shoulders kind of rise up when you were talking about doing things that you would have regretted and stuff, and he just kind of makes himself look a little smaller, which is really interesting considering this toon is 6 feet.
Lynn's clocking that, and she goes, when things got at their worst, I mean, last time we met after, well, what I'm endearingly calling the grave situation case. But after that, I sent you a message with a memory.
Mm-hmm.
One of those memories was the... And she takes a very deep breath and she goes, I was incredibly sick. I was unwell. And instead of reaching out to people, I let it fester and get worse. And in the end, it ended in a situation where I did something I almost couldn't come back from. And instead of going to people who cared about me and who could help, I chose to run. I chose to run for half a month, in fact. It wasn't my smartest move, but at the time I felt it was best because I wasn't safe for my family and friends, and I thought if I stayed, I'd put them in danger.
Sammy just kind of looks up at you, Lynn, kind of through his bangs, and he's just, but all I really know how to do is run.
One thing I've learned as a detective is we run for reasons. We run towards things or away from things. Sometimes we run away for both reasons. So, little Sammy, why are you running?
Sammy kind of takes in a breath and he just kind of very quietly, I don't want them to get hurt because of me.
Oh, kiddo.
He just wants me. If I'm not here, then no one else has to get dragged in.
Oh, kiddo. And Lynn, Lynn's holding out her arms if you want a hug, but she's not gonna push it because she gets sometimes you don't want to be touched, but she says like it's okay. You're okay.
And Sammy's honestly gonna take up that hug because Lynn, you don't even have to roll for this. Sammy's feeling extremely small right now.
Lynn knows that feeling oh so well. And the blanket that was around you, yep, it's wrapped tighter, and she is... Honestly, she's just full on just pulling you into the softest hug she can. She has fluffed out her fur as much as it will go. And she just goes, you're okay. I know a little bit about your case. I can't offer much, but I promise you all that I can, I will help. I'm gonna open up a case of my own to see if I can find out anything, but kiddo, I'm gonna level with you here. Running from people, shutting them out, you think you're doing the best. You think you're helping them by running so that they won't get hurt, but they will. It's one of those horrible things that happens, but when we try to do that, I mean, what did this to me is still out there, and I'm still searching on that front. But I thought if I ran and I dealt with it myself, I could make it all go away and make it so that it couldn't go near anyone I loved. And I forgot that they would search for me. People don't stop caring. People don't stop loving. They want to help, and my people, I mean, and here she actually smiles. You can actually feel it as she pulls you closer. She goes, Asclepius? He sent me sendings every day I was away. Kept me updated, let me know things, let me know that he was worried, and good night messages. Those helped keep me sane. Shutting people out by running, it won't help. Maybe a little bit. Maybe if you're trying to figure yourself out, see who you are, maybe, but not all the way, little Sammy.
Lynn, I wish I could be small, like you.
I wouldn't recommend it, kiddo. The world's a big place, and there are a lot of very big things. It's honestly, I kind of wish sometimes I was as tall as you. I mean, maybe if I was that tall, I could have. Maybe then I could have actually stopped all of this.
Being tall doesn't. Being tall means that everybody looks to you to hold them. I'm tired of holding everyone.
Well, I'll admit I'm shorter than you, but if ever you need it, these small arms are made for holding people, and you are a child. A child who has been through far, far more than they ever should have in their life. You don't have to do it alone, and if ever you need it, my door is always open and my arms are here. You're not alone, little Sammy, and you never have to be.
I'm scared that everyone's gonna regret knowing me in the end.
Welcome to the Pickin' Club, kiddo. I'm still struggling with that myself, I'll admit. I mean, Pickett, we have some amazing people in our lives. But people crack and break and hurt under pressure when they are alone. Together, yes, we see each other. We see the cracks, we see the breaks, we see the hurt and the tears and the anger, yes, but having people around you, if they love you, they will see that and they will see you. If they love you, they won't regret knowing you. I mean, I've been an absolute picking little shit to a lot of people, yet they still love me. Because love isn't through that.
But what if you've already... What if you've pushed someone into being uncomfortable so much that they don't really want you anymore?
Then you give them time and you think about yourself. You think where you want to stand, how you feel. I'm presuming this is someone you care strongly for.
I love him.
Oh, sweetheart. Come here. It's okay. And she is now just rubbing soothing circles into your back as she tries to think, because heck yeah. People are complicated. They don't fit any specific script or trope or design. There isn't a set narrative we can follow and make everything fit. Sometimes I wish there were, but joys of life.
He was. That's what he's trying to figure out. He's trying to figure out how not to fit into a script, and I wanted to be there to help him, but he doesn't. He doesn't need me.
It sounds like he is going through a crisis of his own. Unfortunately, it seems a lot of people in Inkwell at the moment are going through turmoil. It's difficult to see someone struggling and not want to reach out, not want to be part of their solution. A real hero and martyr complex there for most of us. But I think the thought that you care, that's good. That's a good place to be. Just, they'll figure themselves out. Just let them know that you're there. I mean, I'm sure there are people who've done the same for you, and if and when they do come back, you can see where you stand, but don't go drowning yourself to try and keep others afloat, okay, kiddo? You deserve better than that as well. You deserve happiness and joy and love. Do you understand that?
But what if I don't?
Okay, kiddo. And she's actually pulling back so that she can look you dead in the eye, and she goes, you, Sammy Jax, little Sammy, you deserve love. Everyone deserves love and kindness and happiness and nurture. They deserve the chance for that. Some people lose that. The person who did this to you, the person who did this to me, there are people who are horrors because they take other people's love and care and joy and they twist it and they break it and they make those toons feel unworthy. You are not one of those. You are kind and you care. I mean, someone who wasn't kind and didn't care wouldn't have been there on that case with me, Willethi. And they wouldn't have stuck around for the case with March. No, they would have turned and they would have just left. You didn't. You stay and you care so, so much, kiddo.
But what if I care too much?
That's the problem of a bleeding heart. We both need to learn how to deal with that, how to process. We both need to learn how to deal with our own emotions, how to... And here Lynn actually takes a moment to think herself as she's actually clocking some of the things that she's saying to you and thinking of herself. She goes, we need to learn how to take steps back, how to love ourselves as well as others, and how sometimes we need to put ourselves first so that we can help them down the line, maybe. You're not broken for loving too much. You're not broken at all. You're just someone who needs to learn. Like a garden. You need to find new ways to nurture yourself to bloom.
Sammy looks at one of the flowers that he'd been planting into the garden bed, and he just kind of tilts his head and just kind of leans against you, Lynn. He's just kind of like thinking. And he just kind of, what if I still want to leave? Like, not to run, but it's hard here. Everything happens so much, and I promised Chifley I'd come back. I'd always find my way back to both of them, but hell, I pinky swore it, but everything happens so much here in Toontown.
Yeah, it's part of the reason why I'm a detective here, besides being materialized here. It's the place I've always known, and I'll admit, in hindsight, I probably should have moved out at some stage when my mental health went a bit down the drain. I've heard Halloween Town's nice this time of year. But if you need to leave for your own health, then if that's the best course of action for you, I say go for it. However, I also say reach out to people. There are people that care about you. You said Chifley, and I'm sure there are others. I mean, March cares about you, and Hugh, and I certainly do. I have an invested interest in you, you young detective. But you know where I live, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if ever you're back in town, you can come visit. I mean, I've got a guest bedroom, but otherwise, I also have a landline. Or you can send letters. The point of leaving sometimes is to help find yourself again. But keeping in touch with people, it helps keep your head above water. And take it from me, kid, silence isn't a smart idea.
You feel Sammy flinch again at the word silence.
Ah.
Silence
Okay.
has teeth in it. It can really sink into you if you let it.
There is a... Lynn's holding you tight. There is an actual shiver through her fur as her sketching changes slightly just for a moment, and she goes, yeah. You have the silence, I have the dark on that front, or the colour red. Gods, I really hate some shades of red. But perhaps we can fill these voids with song, with different things. There are so many different ways of filling the world. I mean, you've already clocked that rainbows are a thing on that front.
Yeah, song is really nice. I can't really stand silence that much.
No, it can be suffocating. Which is why we fill our lives with noise, with sound, with song, with everything that makes us who we are. And others. I mean, Personally, I'm quite fond of birdsong, and you've got quite a few lovely birds here.
They're actually making a nest right now.
Oh,
Yeah, it's really nice. I can't wait to see the chicks. I, I hope I'll be able to see the chicks.
well, let's see. If. Tell you what, after this, perhaps after a bit more food for you, or perhaps some rest, we could go to a library and figure out how long it takes for these sorts of birds to lay and hatch. Then you could measure your trip so that you go away and you figure out a bit about yourself, do some wandering, do some sightseeing, pick up some souvenirs.
I'm gonna get Gil so many bananas.
Ah,
He keeps joking about bananas being obscenely pricey, and no, they're not. And I'm going to prove a point by getting him so many bananas, he's going to drown in bananas.
Lynn has clocked the name. Let's clock the name. You don't see that, but she goes, well, I do know a good marketplace. There are a few good marketplaces for bananas. I mean, kid, you're talking to a detective here. You are talking to a detective who is, and she gestures very empathetically, a monkey. If you want, I can give you some good notes of places to go. Road trip. You can go on a road trip of bananas.
Road trip of bananas. And as Sammy is speaking, he's like, you can see his shading brighten from the more muted colors that he'd been going through, like the darker, kind of gloomier shades, and just they're very vibrantly yellow and gold and just spring. Just, oh, this boy is very excited now about bananas.
Okay, Lynn's fur. Lynn does stay a yellowy gold. It is visibly brightened even more. She is matching your color almost exactly as she goes. Yep, you are going to go on a road trip of bananas. You are going to flood this poor son of a picnic. Honestly, I will help you on that front. If you send me letters every now and then of where you are, I will send you back the nearest locations that I know where they have bananas. You are going to drown them.
And like,
They're gonna have to make banana pie, banana bread. They are gonna be drowning in so many bananas. They are not gonna know what pick and hit them.
Serves him right. Serves him right. And like,
Revenge! Revenge, I see. We're gonna get them then.
yeah, it's not really revenge. It's just I get really competitive around him.
Oh, we love to see it. We love to see it, kiddo. I am gonna teach you all the ways.
And just there's just you were getting a very beaming Ghiblian at you right now, Lynn. You're just there's been depressed, and now excited. Aha! Haha, devious.
Exactly what Lynn wanted. This is exactly what Lynn wanted. She grabs you by the shoulder, she looks you in the eye and goes, have you ever tried to make an envelope with a hammer space in it?
No.
Trust me, I can't do it myself, but I know a few stagehands who can. I will give you a few envelopes if you promise to fill them full of bananas and send this to him.
Sammy's just nodding furiously, like there's like a blur.
Heckin' fantastic. I wonder if we have banana stickers. Oh god,
banana stickers.
We gotta find banana confetti. I'm gonna commission it if I have to. We're gonna find a way to get you the most obscure banana merchandise, banana, whatever you call it when it's banana related stuff. We're gonna get it for you, and you are gonna torment this poor son of a picnic.
He's just like, I already wanted to get him a banana shaped mug. So,
oh, if you find that, Send me one, because I'm curious.
I'll send you one.
That is going to confuse the heck out of so many people. Just imagine me at my desk. It's a very nice desk. I love my desk. And I'm just going to use that for many things. And I'm going to use so many people on cases.
Thanks, Lynn.
For you, kiddo, anytime.
And you don't have to roll for this. You kind of see him hesitate for a moment, and like his shading is like slightly lilac, but it's a very, very light shade. And he just kind of opens his mouth and then shuts it. Like he wants to ask something, but he doesn't quite know how this is gonna go.
You get the most gentle look from Lynn that she can. It's slightly encouraging. Of, whatever you say, there isn't going to be any judgment from it.
And like he slightly makes himself look a little bit smaller because he's nervous, and he just kind of, can I call you Auntie Lynn?
And all of her fur fluffs. There is a pom-pom in front of you. And she just goes, kiddo, I would be honored. I have a rainbow nephew now.
and you can keep calling me little Sammy if you want.
Yes.
I kind of like being someone's little something. And like his shading is slightly pink as he's saying this.
Then you are my nephew, little Sammy. I think it suits you.
Thanks, Auntie.
Anytime, kiddo.
And
gives
Lynn,
you another big hug.
Yeah, I was about to say, Sammy kind of just engulfs you in this big hug.
Oh! Yep, there is. Honestly, chinchilla fluff. Pretty sure it's even better than chinchilla fluff, as she is super happy. There is actually a little soft hum in her throat. You don't understand it, but she is talking in network speech just for a moment. It's just, this is one of my kids now. I've adopted them. Anyone messes with my child, I'm going to remove their kneecaps violently.
Laughs in DMs.
Yes, laughs in DMs. I'm going to get them. I'm going to get those kneecaps, and I'm going to beat a mother pecker over the head with them.
Yes, good. We love to see it. I am grinning so much right now. You have no idea, Wild.
And I think this is actually a good place to cut out them just hugging.
Yep.
Lynn is going to force you to eat that chili later on. I hope you know. She's hidden it. She hid it terribly. She's going to bring it out from the flowers and then force you to eat it. Because yes, biscuits are good, but you also need chili. You need dinner. Eat the food.
In response to Lynn basically going, "Hey, you need to eat," Sammy's gonna pull out a picnic basket in retaliation and hand her some sandwiches.
I have been bamboozled. I have been stunned.
Yes, just like there's a picnic basket. Like there's just a little. They just set out a picnic. Just the very classic picnic blanket. All the what haves and what haves nots, and just there's chili, there's sandwiches, there's lemonade, there's very tasty things. Yes, good.
And as this happens, Lynn does something that she only does when she's, well, being open. She takes off her hat and she puts it to one side. And she's just like, yeah, I could get used to this. Crunch. You don't know how a sandwich can crunch. She somehow makes it do so.
I feel like it's just like she got the one sandwich that has a lot of lettuce. So just crunch. Crunch, 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 crunch.
Oh god, this was so soft.
Yes, thank you all for listening to Old Hat and New Hat. I hope you guys had fun despite the angst.
Woo! We
Woo!
had soft at the end.
Yes.
We made a soft.
Anyways, thank you all for listening. Bye.
Bye bye.